What if America spent $28 billion on the ports that handle almost half of its imports? And suddenly, those ports became empty ghost towns overnight. That's exactly what's happening right now at the ports of Los Angeles and Long Beach. Container arrivals have plummeted 35% in just weeks. Giant cranes are motionless, trucks are parked, workers are left jobless, and it's all about to hit your wallet. But how did the busiest ports in America grind to a halt so quickly? And what does it mean for you? Let's rewind. The LA Long Beach ports aren't just big, they're massive, handling 40% of America's imports. Last year alone, they moved nearly 20 million shipping containers, filled with phones, furniture, and essentials that power everyday life. To maintain this powerhouse status, the US invested billions into cutting-edge tech and greener infrastructure. $2.6 billion in upgrades at the Port of LA alone. We're talking zero-emission cranes, automated terminals, and futuristic roadways designed to keep trade flowing faster than ever. But here's the twist nobody saw coming. Just as America unveiled its brand new port facilities, a sudden trade war with China erupted. Tariffs soared to an eye-watering 145%. And Chinese imports to these ports plunged almost overnight. What happens when your biggest customer suddenly stops buying and you're left holding a $28 billion receipt? And the real question, can America's most crucial ports bounce back? Or has the damage already been done? It started suddenly. April 2025. The US hits China with staggering 145% tariffs. Almost instantly, shipping bookings from China plunged by nearly half. Within weeks, container arrivals at LA ports fell sharply, down by a third. Billions in trade vanished overnight, and America's busiest ports were left stunned and silent. But the fallout didn't stop there. Retailers panicked, rushing to stockpile goods ahead of the tariffs. But experts warned this frantic buying spree created only a temporary buffer. Analysts revealed that stores had just 4 to 8 weeks of inventory left. Think about this. By the time you finish binge-watching your next Netflix series, shelves across America could be running empty. Prices for electronics, clothing, and everyday essentials are about to surge and fast. Meanwhile, behind the scenes, anxiety surged on the docks. Dock workers who used to line up for daily shifts now show up to empty terminals, watching helplessly as their livelihoods evaporate. One worker summed it up perfectly. Fewer containers mean fewer jobs. We definitely feel it. And it's not just the dock workers. This crisis is rippling into grocery stores, trucking companies, and local businesses across every state. Imagine grocery aisles thinning out week by week, and you start to feel the real human impact of this trade war, America's hidden dependency crisis. But let's dive deeper. Just how dependent is America on these Chinese imports? The truth is startling. Over 21% of all goods sold in America come directly from China. And nearly 70% of electronics, including the smartphone or laptop you're watching this on, are made in China. Even everyday essentials like clothes, furniture, home appliances, medical equipment, and auto parts are overwhelmingly manufactured there. Just glance around your room right now. Chances are you're surrounded by products stamped with "Made in China." Here's why that matters. If Chinese goods suddenly stop flowing or become drastically more expensive due to skyrocketing tariffs, prices across America would explode almost overnight. Economists predict that average household costs could rise by nearly $2,300 annually. Small businesses would suffer most. Unable to absorb these higher costs, imagine your local hardware store, clothing boutique, or electronics shop struggling to restock affordable inventory, forcing them to raise prices or shut their doors entirely. And it's already happening. Recent slowdowns at the Port of LA and Long Beach, responsible for 40% of US container imports, have triggered early waves of shortages. Major retailers like Walmart and Target have already warned of delayed shipments, forecasting bare shelves in key product categories like toys, electronics, and clothing. And it doesn't stop there. Medical supplies, 80% of which involve Chinese manufacturing, are at risk, threatening hospitals and healthcare systems nationwide. In other words, this isn't just about economics. It's about a hidden dependency crisis that could disrupt the average American lifestyle in a deeply personal way. What happens if your next smartphone or winter coat doubles in price, or vital medications become harder to get? America's reliance on Chinese imports isn't just convenience, it's woven into our very way of life. And now the bill is coming due. This leaves us with a critical question. Is America ready to face the true cost of its dependence on China? Or are we headed for a painful economic reckoning? But wait, wasn't this $4.5 billion mega upgrade supposed to bulletproof America's ports against exactly this kind of crisis? On paper, the plan was genius. In the past year alone, Port of LA invested a massive $257.7 million on ambitious upgrades. Picture $44 million spent rebuilding congested interstate interchanges. $15 million poured into futuristic, zero-emission electric cranes. And another $14 million upgrading bustling terminals like Pasha, creating what many called the smartest, greenest ports on Earth. But just how deep did this mega upgrade go? At the Port of Los Angeles alone. Recent expansions include a $73 million Pier 400 rail extension, a $52 million rail upgrade at Pier 300, and a massive $500 million overhaul of power infrastructure. Long Beach took it even further, investing $1.5 billion in the Pier B rail facility expansion, plus another $1.5 billion in a groundbreaking green energy electrification initiative. Together, both ports poured nearly $4.5 billion into their latest enhancements. And with a combined infrastructure and land value topping $28 billion, these aren't just ports. They're critical engines driving America's $400 billion a year economic powerhouse. Losing their cargo isn't just bad logistics, it's an economic security nightmare. These upgrades promised faster unloading times, smoother supply chains, and significantly reduced pollution, truly a model for the future of global shipping. The centerpiece, a groundbreaking $150 million goods movement training center. America's first ever dedicated academy to train a new generation of highly skilled logistics workers. This was the infrastructure equivalent of building a Ferrari to outpace global trade competitors. But nobody expected that Ferrari would suddenly have nowhere to go. Today, those advanced cranes and futuristic terminals stand idle, high-tech symbols of economic vulnerability. Empty roads and silent docks mock billions spent, showcasing how rapidly global trade realities can shift. America's ports are stuck between innovation and irrelevance, prompting the critical question: did the US just build the most expensive ghost town ever? With LA's billion-dollar terminals empty, where exactly did all those ships go? Brace yourself, because shippers swiftly pivoted, rerouting cargo away from US shores entirely. Containers are now docking in Canada, Vietnam, and Cambodia, places untouched by America's punishing tariffs. Picture this: nearly 400,000 fewer containers booked from Asia to North America in early May alone, a staggering 25% drop in scheduled cargo. Even global shipping giants like Hapag-Lloyd reported 30% of their China to US bookings vanishing overnight. It's as if an economic earthquake struck and global trade patterns shifted overnight. Here's the kicker: with containers rerouted, canceled shipments skyrocketed. The Port of LA alone faced 20 blank sailings in May, nearly 250,000 containers erased from schedules, compared to only 6 cancellations the previous month. Now think about your local stores. Experts warn the temporary inventories retailers scrambled to build will run dry within weeks, leaving empty shelves and surging prices nationwide. Imagine walking into Walmart or Target in a few short weeks, only to find the shelves for your favorite gadgets, clothes, and everyday essentials suddenly bare. And it's not just empty shelves, The rerouting frenzy is wreaking havoc on shipping prices too. Shipping costs from Vietnam to the US surged 15%, even as China-US rates plunged 27% from excess capacity. Industry expert Judah Levine calls this phenomenon a pricing whipsaw, a chaotic market where some goods become suddenly unaffordable while others pile up overseas. And with trucking, warehouses, and railroads feeling the pinch, the economic fallout is only just beginning. So here's the question nobody dares ask. Could America's consumers be headed toward one of the most disruptive shortages in modern history? Massive automated cranes stand frozen. Terminals designed for efficiency gather dust. Dock workers, tools idle, anxiously wait for work. Even the palm trees look bored, staring at empty horizons. America's multi-billion-dollar ports built for speed and scale now symbolize a harsh lesson. Infrastructure alone can't safeguard against geopolitical storms. Now the haunting question. Are these empty docks a short-term setback, or the first signs of a lasting shift in global trade dynamics? Yet there's a darker scenario. What if this isn't temporary turbulence? Prolonged tariffs might permanently shift trade routes. China and other Asian exporters could choose Europe, Canada, or Southeast Asia over US ports, causing America's trade dominance to fade. The gleaming infrastructure could deteriorate, a multi-billion-dollar testament to economic missteps. This crisis isn't just about empty docks. It's about your wallet, your community, and America's future. The silent ports of LA and Long Beach are sending an urgent message. Will the US bounce back, or is this the beginning of a permanent shift in global trade? The answer affects all of us, and the next few months will be critical. If you're hooked on stories about incredible engineering, shocking turns in megaprojects, and the forces that shape our world, hit subscribe. Smash that bell icon so you never miss the next mind-blowing story. Drop a comment below. What do you think America should do next? And if this video opened your eyes, share it with someone who needs to see what's really going on. From all of us behind the scenes, thank you for spending your valuable time with us today. Your curiosity, your attention, and your passion for truth are what keep this channel going. Until next time, stay curious, stay informed, and never stop questioning.